Hi there everyone, Sam here. Welcome to my first video talking a little bit around sort of like UK sort of savings, investments, just coming from sort of like a normal person. And yeah, today's topic is going to be around what's happening sort of on early April, 6th of April. And yeah, some of the pressures that we're getting put on us in terms of investing into like ISAs, LISAs, stocks and shares ISAs. Yeah, it's just endless. So I thought I'd go through that and yeah, get straight into this video. So yes, bit of an introduction to myself, being my first video. My name's Sam. I'm from the UK. I was born in Bedfordshire and I live in Hertfordshire. I'm just a normal person essentially, and I wanted to essentially start up a channel which explained to give you a different type of opinion on what you can potentially do with your money. Now, I'm no financial expert, I'm just a normal UK taxpayer. I work hard and I'm sure we all kind of do. But there's so much, tension and stress going on at this time in the world. I'm sitting here on the 28th of March, and I really kind of wanted to hopefully give someone out there a different perspective on what they can potentially do with their money. And that's kind of what the channel is going to be about. I'm going to essentially do a video once a week, and it's going to bring up different topics which come up for me. Money is something that can stress everyone out. It stresses me out. I don't particularly like it, but unfortunately it's here with us. And it's important that we kind of understand what we have to do with that. So yeah, bit of an introduction to myself. Let's get straight into this topic. So yes, well, if you're not aware, we are coming up to a new tax year. And as part of that, you essentially see a lot of advertisements, say like moneysupermarket.com advice from like Martin Lewis and people like that in the UK, and they're sort of essentially saying you need to get your money into an ISA, you've got a £20,000 allowance, all this kind of stuff, blah blah blah, and you've got a set deadline to kind of get that in, early April, a week, 2 weeks away, it's not long. And that kind of pressure puts people in a bit of an uncomfortable position, particularly with all the things that are going on. And you've got stresses, you might have kids, you might have your own work, you've got so much stuff going on, and it's very hard to sort of find the right answer. Now, a lot about what my channel is going to try and do is, please don't take my advice as like this is what you have to do. What I'm trying to do with this channel is just to give you a different perspective of what someone else is doing. My actual general advice would be, go through different resources, check on like the government website, use Martin Lewis's advice and stuff like that, use other YouTubers who talk about finance, and try and build up a picture of what you think is best right for your kind of situation. Now, on the stuff where you get tax-free allowances and you're trying to look for the best rates to do with your money, I'm going to make it quite nice and easy for you. What do I think you should do? I actually think if you're watching this video, you should first of all just relax and don't necessarily make any rash decisions that you're uncomfortable with, whatever that is, whether it's putting your money into an ISA or not. We all work very hard for our money, and ultimately that money is then part of a proportion of that money then goes to tax. And we're in a pandemic at the moment. Money is going to have to get paid back, and that's going to have to be paid back via taxes. It's as simple as that. I don't mind paying taxes. I'm completely not against it at all. I pay plenty of tax from my job, and I have done over the years. I'm in my 30s, and what I don't necessarily understand about these tax-free incentives is that you're not necessarily getting that much back, certainly as much back as you think, for the effort that you have to put in, signing up for a site, trying to understand what is the best rate. Some of the rates are absolutely pathetic, and it's just not worth your time at all. And I could think of so many different things that you can do to potentially get a little bit of money in your back pocket, which isn't involving like an ISA. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't try these things. I set up a Help to Buy ISA, for example, probably about 5 years ago now. And although the rates were good, it's not a game changer. It's never going to make you financially stable. It's never going to give you that massively kickstart. And and there's so many topics to kind of talk about that I'm looking forward to kind of sharing my kind of thoughts of it with you on that. Now, you can't just you can't pin your hopes on one thing. And this is again what I'm talking about on my channel. try different types of resources of what you want to do. You kind of heard my advice on that, kind of leave it alone. I think I checked some of the best rates. It's something like 0.4%. You know, so you just got to think it's such a small amount of money. You know, it really is small. You know, £1,000 in, 0.4% of it's literally nothing. There's so much more you could potentially be doing with your money, or even just keeping it just easily accessible. Now, I'm certainly not against all these different ISAs and stocks and shares and cash ISAs and just the so many complicated places that you can put your money. And I do think it's important to spread your money about, but I don't ever think anyone should be peer pressured into doing something, and that's what I feel like is kind of happening. I see it on the news, I see it on TV, I see it on TV shows, and I just think you should understand that you, behind the screen, are in control of whatever you do. You work hard for your money, and ultimately that money has a strong value to it. You have to recognise that, and the longer you work and the harder you potentially work and the more you progress, the more money you will have. And I for one I'm although it's sometimes quite tough when you look at kind of like the state of the roads and other things, tax is really important, and it's really important in this time. And the best way you can actually pay back some of the tax is generally just by working harder. You know, education is something I want to talk about on this channel. You know, I have a student loan, for example, and which I'm still paying off, and I want to kind of talk about that in a separate chat. But around this peer pressure that you have to get everything in by the 6th of April, I just don't like it. And that's kind of why I wanted to start this channel and do this video, because I just want to give someone that chance to sort of say, don't rush, don't panic. I tried to read through, I spent about an hour reading through a load of information, and it just completely boggled my mind. You know, don't put so much stress or pressure on yourself to be out doing these type of things. I get the whole thing, your money should work for you, but the best way you can actually earn money is by earning money. Now, the UK government does offer something, if you are employed, that you can also be employed and self-employed as well. And if you're self-employed and you earn less than £1,000, government won't take any tax off you. You don't need to declare anything. So, for example, going back to maybe a past time, we're a little bit against the digital age, but still relevant now. If you wanted to mow your neighbour's lawn or paint a fence, or, you know, just do some handiwork or whatever it is, and, you know, whoever gave you £50 a month for doing that, you did that over the course of the year, that's £600. That £600 is your money. You don't have to declare it, you don't have to do anything, you know, it's your money. And for me, that is a better way, and hopefully that gives you some kind of, you don't necessarily have to do exactly in that way, some kind of way that you can actually start saving your money kind of on the side away from your job. Because as much as, you know, I enjoy working, you have to think of the bigger picture. You know, unfortunately, redundancies and things can just be around the corner. You just don't know. You've got to work hard and build up your skill set, but a lot of things are out of your hands and out of your control. And, you know, like I've said, you know, if you've, you know, I don't have kids, my sister does, and it's important that you look after your family in the right way. And I just think all this pressure, particularly in the UK, where we are fortunate, we are more fortunate than other countries in the world, there's no getting away from it. What you spend and what you earn is more important than some, you know, precious deadline to get your, you know, tax-free incentives or your 0.4% on, you know, your £5,000 savings or whatever it may be. And that's something that I just really wanted to stress in today's video, basically. And hopefully you might be watching this and you might be thinking, well, actually, Sam, that does take a bit of the pressure off. I really hope it does, because that's what it's about. That's what the channel is. Really, just don't worry. Because if you do worry about it and you do get everything right, and you do find the right best ISA and LISA, it is not going to change your life. It's not going to be anything that's going to be particularly special. And that's just the truth. What you spend, and obviously what you earn, you know, and we can get into that in later videos, in future videos I should say. What you spend is such an important thing, and I know it's hard again in this country because spending helps boost the economy, which is again is important, but do things in the right way. So for example, I'm a bit of a runner, and you can get these new shoes, the new Vaporfly 2s, I think they're called, the Nike Zoom X Vaporfly 2. So basically the successor to what people like Kipchoge and some amazing athletes ran in. And these shoes are no doubt make you run faster, and that's brilliant. That's what you want, particularly if you're training. You can get a bit of a 10 seconds on your time. That's always great. And the shoe retails at £209, and there was a precious deadline for it as well. It was actually this Monday, so 6 days ago, and it was a limited stock. You got to get in, and then they'll all be gone, but they might come back again. And I had myself signed up, and I was going to do it. And then on the day, 8 o'clock, I was just looking at myself. I was like, I've got shoes, and they run really well, and I love running in them. And I'm only actually competing against myself, particularly during this time when we can't actually go out as much as we would like to. And I said no, and I didn't place the order. And that was £209 saved for me. And I think if people look at it like that, you can make a wiser decisions in your investments than precious sort of ISAs and things like that. So I hope that kind of gives you an incentive. And again, I don't want people to think don't spend any money and don't enjoy yourself. Everyone has a passion for something, and you should always kind of follow that, but you should always have your head kind of screwed on as well. Particularly if you're like a younger generation, it's very easy to get caught up in the next and the latest. You have to have the latest, otherwise, you're no one basically. But there's always time to kind of get that latest product. There's always time to wait a little bit and get things at the right price. So I don't think I think the main thing about today's video is basically just don't be peer pressured by deadlines. That's kind of what I want to explain. You might not take my advice, you might piece together my advice with other people's, but I really do want to make these type of videos because I just feel a lot of the talk that goes out there, it's very much for the own person's gain. I'm doing this video just because I want to help out. I enjoy helping people out, and hopefully someone might take that advice on and send you on your way, and it might chill you out on this this Sunday. So yeah, that's really the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying this long into the video. It's the first one that I've kind of done on this kind of topic. I will try and do more videos as well. I just think it's really, really relevant, and I think people should be very very aware that they are in control of what you have and what savings you have. And actually, I'm probably more of a person that you're better off having your savings than sort of spending it or tying it away somewhere where you potentially can't have access to it. Easily accessible money is probably the smartest thing to do, because you just don't know what's around the corner. And I know you can do that with ISAs and LISAs and whatever it is and take them out, but sometimes there are penalties, and sometimes you just don't get the interest in the first place. You just won't get it, which makes the whole process kind of pointless in the first place. You've spent your time setting up an account, so it's like, why kind of do it? There are also other forms of investment that are kind of knocking on the door, and something that I want to talk about as well, which is a little bit around Bitcoin and Ethereum, a bit around cryptocurrencies. It's something that I kind of want you to maybe see it through my eyes as well, because it's something that I've been sort of researching the last sort of couple of weeks, as I'm sure some people have been as well. I will be investing into it, not massive amounts, but I kind of want to share updates of my kind of progress on it, because a lot of people kind of say, oh, it's just a scam, oh, what are you doing, you're just throwing your money away, I've just given this advice, what are you doing? But only ever, the strong thing is only ever put in what you're happy to lose. £100, if you lost it, it's not going to be a game changer. But what could happen is if you think about the long term, in 10 years time, if that £100 became £10,000, I know it could be unlikely, but that's a nice kind of feeling for not that much risk. So I kind of want to talk about that as well in sort of future videos, because it's quite a topical conversation. But listen, thank you so much for watching. I'm just sitting here on the floor. That's kind of how I'm going to do these videos. I may be sitting here, or maybe sitting somewhere else. But I just want to give advice. That's my kind of thing. Just think of me as not a friend, not a family member, nothing like that. Just a person who's just saying, this is how I think about the situation. You may agree, you may disagree. There's absolutely nothing wrong in anything, but I hope whatever you get, you've learned something from it, whether it's to ignore my advice completely, or maybe I might be onto something. But hopefully that helps you out. Hopefully it de-stresses you a little bit. Hopefully I haven't taken up too much of your time watching this video. But I'll end it there. Thank you so much for watching. To summarise, don't worry about any precious deadlines, and if you're confused about it, all I would say is do the research that you can. If you do decide to get involved in it, do what you can. Don't overload yourself by trying to put your money all into different places all at once. You've got the rest of your life to kind of spread your costs around, and that's kind of what I think is the right thing to do. But listen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this first video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again for another one. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, I'll be sure to listen to, if you've got any comments, I'll check them out and see if I can include them into a future video. I do understand that I'm talking about finance and cash, so I do know in the YouTube world you do get sort of like bots and all this kind of stuff which can try and take your money off you. So for me, it's going to be primarily just doing the YouTube videos. This is me talking, I'm not a robot or anything like that, and you can hopefully build up some sort of trust with that. That's kind of my idea of the channel. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Chill out and enjoy it, and I'll see you again for the next one. Thanks everyone.